Hello, marry me. Today I want to discuss a topic that so-called skeptics like to throw at anything who is interested in the alternative. And that is, but if science haven't given something its stamp of approval, because of course, if you're gonna do something, it has to be approved by the priesthood of science. And please don't take that the wrong way, because I'm not here referring to liking science or trusting science. By all means, do that. Science is a great thing. I'm talking about those that feel that they act just like Christians do when they scream heretic when somebody doesn't base every belief on whatever or not the current scientific paradigm approves it. Basically, these people tend to scream is then, but if science haven't approved it, how do you know it isn't dangerous? Well, let me address that. How do I know that the various forms of occult work I do, uh, that alternative methods and so on aren't dangerous? I don't. I can be pretty sure some of them aren't dangerous, but ultimately we don't know. And actually, the problem I have with this argument is that first of all, there's a lot of medicine and things that are approved by science that we don't know if are dangerous or not. Some we know the side effects of, but there's a lot of things we do not know the effects of long time use. We have to make an educated guess about it, and we do the same within alternative. Here's the thing: what we discussed. I've discussed this with skeptic, and it was about stone healing. And do I know it's not dangerous? No, I'm pretty sure it can be. I mean, anything that can heal can also harm. There's a logic in that if you believe it has a real effect, you also have to believe it can have a real effect to do harm as well. However, since the positive effect is subtle, chances are the negative effect is so too. It's very doubtful that you'll die from holding a rock crystal. However, here's the thing. These skeptics don't like to scream, oh, but you're so irresponsible to then tell people to do such and such and such. I'm not telling people to do anything. I share my experiences with what has been useful for me. And if people then wish to do that, wish to try these methods for themselves, or go to an alternative therapist and try these methods, they can take responsibility for their own lives and do that. Here's the point. I am against this idea that we have to sew pillows under people's arms. I believe that people are more than capable of taking responsibility for themselves and choosing what they want to believe in, what they want to spend the money on, and what risks they want to take with their own lives. Now, for example, if I go to the doctor for some sort of illness, there's always a risk involved with any medication I take, but generally speaking, I find that the benefits outweigh the risks. I look at it the same way with alternative treatment. Is it possible to do it wrong? Yeah, absolutely, and especially since we don't know everything about it. It's not an exact science. Could you end up doing harm? Yeah, of course you could. That's where personal responsibility comes into the picture. It means you yourself decide, is this a method I would like to try? Knowing full well it's not a method that has been researched by modern science. It is a method that we don't know everything about. And then you make the choice. I mean, are there alternative methods I would not try because I consider them to be very, very risky? Yeah, there is. I mean, for example, it all depends on what methods are we talking about here. Are we talking about, for example, herbalism? Then that can be pretty dangerous unless you do it right, because, yeah, herbs can be poisonous. You could die. It would be bad. So, I would not go to an inexperienced herbalist. But is there things that can go wrong with other kinds of treatments too? Yeah, definitely. I mean, I have given my hubby healing, basically energy work, and he got nauseous, and it didn't do a thing for what I was trying to cure him for. Things can go wrong, but that's the point. You look at the risks and you decide. I mean, why should the alternative and the occult be anything different than anything else in life? I'm pretty sure these skeptics that have to find something to bitch at alternative at because they can't stand that somebody believes differently than them. I'm pretty sure that if somebody says, yeah, I want to scale Mount Everest, and they will say, yeah, sure. If somebody knows the risks, uh, they should be willing to do that. I might not be willing to do that, but sure. If somebody says, I want to have a body modification, that might be a little bit risky. I mean, take a rant. There's also risk for infection when it comes to that, or even any body modification can go wrong. People say, oh, sure, just read up on the dangers. Or if it's something you don't know the dangers of anything, they will probably say, oh, sure, if people are aware of the risks, they should do that. But when it comes to, I want to try an alternative method, it's no, and it's so irresponsible. So it's not irresponsible for somebody to lead a group of people up to Mount Everest, where you know that almost in every expedition somebody ends up with injuries or dies. That's fine. Oh well, it's not irresponsible to run a football team where you know that people are gonna have injuries. I don't know a single person that plays football as a hobby that don't at times come around with injuries. That that's completely fine. But if I tell people, yeah, you know what, I have had quite good experience putting a bit of citrine under my bed to cure nightmares, then oh no, I'm so irresponsible, I'm a horrible person, because imagine that not only was I right that we do something, what if it's dangerous? Is there a small chance that could be dangerous, I guess? I have never heard of anybody dying or sustaining serious illness from the wrong use of crystal healing. It's the dangers that I have heard of, that I am aware of, and that the community that are working with this are aware of, is that, of course, you can overstimulate or understimulate an energy system, and that can lead to physical discomfort. And you can do something that works against what you're doing. Like, let's for example say you want to attract prosperity and you use the wrong stones, you might banish it instead. Those sort of things. But I've never heard of somebody picking up said citrine and oh, dead. But yes, definitely we do not have any scientific proof that it works. We don't have any scientific proof that it's not dangerous. We don't have any scientific proof on it at all. We all we have is a belief in it. And I never claim we have any scientific proof. I can only give the information I have, and then people have to take it or leave it. Because here's the thing. I believe in personal responsibility, and I believe in personal choice. If you don't want to use any method unless it's approved by science, the great priesthood in white coats. And again, I'm not making fun of science in itself. I love science. Science is the thing that made sure that there are was a method to operate on my eye when I was a kid so I can see better. Science keeps us alive longer. Science has given me this computer that lets me talk to you guys. Science is awesome. However, this idea that everything has to be approved by the current scientific paradigm, even if we know that at all times the scientific paradigm has proven to be wrong time and time and time again, and things that was believed to be non-existent has eventually been proven. So this idea that unless you have scientific proof of something, have the approval of science, then it's a horrible thing to do. I mean, here's the point. It seems that these people are under the impression that if you're into the alternative and give advice based on that, then you're somehow brainwashing people. Now, I definitely wish I had that power to tell people to just do anything I said just because I speak to you through my videos. However, I'm less than likely to tell them to believe something or do something that I would tell them to, hey, be nice to the people around you and stop being an asswad on the internet. But, I mean, could come in handy. But, as far as I know, I can't. What I can do is give advice out from my own experiences, and then people have to take that and with their own experience, their own judgment, decide what to do with it. If they decide that, you know what, I don't want to use anything that hasn't been approved by science, enjoy. If they decide that, oh, you know what, stone healing sounds like a great thing, let's try that, enjoy. If somebody's saying, not my thing, enjoy. I am not forcing anybody to do anything. And so that's the thing. So, to address the question, could there be dangers by various alternative methods? Yes. Now let me explain here. A. There are quite a few methods we know there are risks with. For example, I mentioned herbalism. There are risks with herbalism. For example, using herbs has a very different effect than, for example, using drugs that you will find in a drugstore, because since the drugs there are synthetically manufactured, you can control the dosages of the active ingredients completely. You cannot do that in plants. So there's always a danger that you get the wrong plant, and so on and so forth. Is there a danger in acupuncture? Of course it is. You could, while the chances is very small, unless you're careful enough, you could get infections. Some of the methods where you use longer needles, you could hit important stuff inside you. There's dangers, but are they very? If you know what you're doing, is it a very serious threat? No. Other methods, I mean, we don't know everything about them. Now, within the beliefs of these methods, yes, there are things that you can screw up, just like a doctor can screw up and quite often do. For example, you could affect somebody's energy system wrong so that you add to the problem instead of fixing it. Anything that can heal can also harm. However, do that mean that you shouldn't use alternative methods? No. But of course you should use them with the knowledge that these are things we do not know everything about. And if you are okay with that, then enjoy. For me, I find these methods to be very useful. And I am willing to take that risk. Just like I am willing to take the risk that uh, when I use some medication that it could give me a belly trouble or whatever the possible side effects of the medication I'm given. Yes, I'm generally willing to take that risk. I'm also generally willing to take the risk that I'm working with things that are not fully understood. And especially the types of alternative methods that are a mixing of supernatural and mundane ideas. Now, for example, some of them are like herbalism. They are completely natural in that we know how herbalism works. The plants have various active ingredients and they affect the body in various ways. You have methods like, for example, homeopathy, aromatherapy, acupuncture, stone healing, and so on, which moves towards the spiritual. There are both there are supernatural ideas behind why these methods work, and they are not well understood. We have concepts and occult and spiritual beliefs on how they work and how to use them safely. But of course, again, that those are beliefs, not known facts. And that's a part of what you should take into consideration when deciding whether or not to use them or have somebody use them on you. But does that mean that you definitely that it's irresponsible to give somebody the option? No. Just like it isn't irresponsible to give somebody the option to do sport. Adult humans are able to decide whether or not they want to take a risk with their own lives. And fewer cases of people being hurt when it comes to um, the alternative, and there are people that report being hurt when it has to do with school medicine. Not I'm saying that you shouldn't go to the doctor. By all means, if you have a serious illness, go to the doctor. I'm just saying, I like to paint the alternative like this horrible, horrible thing that damages people left and right. No, it's very, very rare that somebody gets hurt when it comes to the alternative. And yeah, but do we know everything about it? No, and of course, when going into muddy waters, when treading into the unknown, there are risks. We don't know everything about it. And a good alternative therapist will not hide that. But then once a good alternative therapist won't try to force you to do anything either. All they give you is the option, and then you choose for yourself. So yeah, and those are my thoughts about that. One point I should make though, but I have no problem with politely debating my beliefs. I'm not interested in getting into screaming matches with skeptics, atheists, and others. So unless you can debate relatively politely, I have no interest in spending my time replying to you. Unless a post goes completely overboard to personal attacks, I will not remove it. It can stay on the video's page. However, if you want a response from me, you will address me politely. I'm not saying that and you have to agree with me, you can criticize what I believe, anything like it. I welcome that. However, if you treat me like a 5-year-old for believing something different, call me names, say that I'm a horrible, horrible person for believing something differently, then you basically act like an asswad. I don't have the time to waste on you. Just a little disclaimer at the end. So, I hope you all have a great day, and blessed be.